This is not a drill. The fourth and final major update to Fields of Mistria has just been released, and you better believe I played through it in its entirety. I mean, honestly, how could I not? Put item processors in front of me, and you have me hooked. Add the mines and even more quests? Quite frankly, I never stood a chance. On top of it all, slip some auto feeders in there, and I'm the one feeling fed. I have to admit, I hadn't played too much since completing the latest content from the third major update all the way back in July. Yeah, it's been that long. And okay, in my defense, during that time, besides just playing through all of the new content from the third major update, I did dedicate some time over the Christmas holiday to decorate my farm, so I haven't stepped away from the game entirely, but I am just so excited to jump into this new content, and there does seem to be a lot of it, so without further ado, let's hop on over to day 1. First, before anything else can be done, I am morally obligated to pet my cat. Now that that's out of the way, I am currently on year 5 of this save. This is my ride or die save. She's been with me since the very start of this early access journey. I've maxed all my skills to level 60 and do have max town rank. Most villagers are at 8 hearts with a few stragglers, mainly those pesky Saturday merchants, although I do have some of them at 8 hearts, just not Darcy and those 2 new vendors that came with the last update. Recently, I've noticed I haven't really been getting any new quests at the board, but I have seen 1 or 2 slip in there on occasion. And let me just slip in here real quick. I do want to make it really clear this entire video will be filled with spoilers, so from this point on, proceed with caution if you don't want to see any spoilers. And so with that, I did save my crops from last season to sell because for some reason I thought there would be some new town rank. And then I planted all new crops for the summer season yesterday in-game, so as you can see, I am completely broke. But trust me, it won't last for long. Well, hopefully. There was no new mail to greet me, and so I was suspicious. It just felt wrong, but I tried to stay calm and carry on because there was a new request at the board, so I took that as a good sign. And then I could see the artifact replicator at the museum, so crisis averted. The update is in fact installed. So really, there was no time to waste. Straight to the mines it was for me. Ooh, she's calling him Lord Calderus. I do kind of like the sound of that. I mean, doesn't that mean if I do end up marrying him in the next update that she'll call me Lady? Okay, it does look like it's time to break that final seal and reach the bottom of the mines. It is slightly terrifying to know that Lord Calderus is relying on me. Quite frankly, I don't feel qualified. I am but a mere mortal, but I'm a mere mortal on another plane of existence. What I can kind of gather, I'll be needing some void items. That does make me feel better that I couldn't have prepped that beforehand because I really didn't do a whole lot of prep. So I guess that means I'll be spending quite a bit of time in the mines before I can even go further in the mines. I did learn Void Sight, which does allow me to find void items like pearls, herbs, stone, etc. And it does look like levels are still capped at 60, so no need to worry about raising them up for the time being. In the meantime though, I was back in the lava levels of the mines. I was able to get my first void powder, and then my first void herb. The cat monster dropped some new loot, a monster whisker. I don't know what I'll do with it exactly, but sure, I'll take it I guess. And at the end of the day, I was able to fish up 2 void pearls, 3 void powders, and 1 void herb. There were no void stones to be seen, but I know in one of those last patches, the spawn rate for items was changed, so I'm hoping that it won't take centuries to find everything I need in the mines. I am still just a little bit salty that it was so hard to find the singing katydid in the last major update, but now it does seem to be much easier. I just have emotional pain and suffering. It's really no big deal. Yeah, I got quite a bit of money for my stored up crops, But oh, I guess it was all for nothing because I guess the town rank moving up is not a thing in this update. My intellect is being challenged, but I swear I looked at the update roadmap beforehand and the words town rank was on them. So I am somewhat justified for my flawed way of thinking. Anyway, on cue, my mailbox was completely bombarded with new mail for the update. I guess it just took a day for things to finally arrive. I got mail from Adeline to pick up the storyline with her. Then I had a letter from Luke for an insect opportunity. Nora sent me some mail to tell me to visit the general store for a seed maker. Arrow mentioned the new artifact replicator that I'd already seen the prior day. And are you kidding? I can get my own local supply of soup and a mini mill? Oh, I need that auto feeder right now. And you know what? Add on the fish trap. I need that as well. I'm feeling like there's just so much to do, so no better way to start off today than by going over to Hayden's to buy 4 auto feeders. I honestly can't wait to never have to feed my pesky animals again. Although I now have it set up where I have dedicated patches of crops, so I don't really know how much time this will save for me in the long run because I do like the look of those crops there, but I guess it's the thought that counts. I placed those auto feeders in my barns and coops and just filled each one up with the fruit supply I had rotting in one of my chests. I mean, I probably wasn't going to do anything else with it, so it's a win-win. I then promptly bought the seed maker, I placed it on my farm, and then proceeded to never touch it again. And then because I had some money, I did buy some more seeds to finish planting off the tea on my farm, as well as my orchard, because if you watch my video where I decorated my farm, I didn't have the summer seeds to plant the summer trees, so now those missing summer trees are mine. And Stinky Farm is complete. It does look nicer than it smells, okay? But then I was right back in town to talk to Luke. Oh, he's talking honey. But first, I do have to ship 20 insects. Good thing I have a measly 2 storage chests full of insects. I then went on to buy the perpetual soup cauldron. Oh, I didn't realize there was also a mini forge. I don't know if that was introduced now or has that been there before. So I bought that as well as the mini mill. I did have to stop to talk to my boyfriend March on the way over to the beach. I don't think I've said it earlier, but I am dating like all the men in town, besides Baylor. Sorry, Baylor, but the heart wants what it wants, and it doesn't want you. Anyway, I do have to say, March is so sweet to me. I went on over to the beach, and it does look like I can already buy the pink fishing rod, but I'm gonna wait till I can forge it myself. Looks like I'll be needing a terrarium to be able to use the fish tackle box contraption. So I went right back to the farm, fished through a few of my chests, and then went on ahead and shipped 20 bugs. Then I was off to the manor to meet with Adeline. Looks like a lost and found box is entering Fields of Mistria. And what makes it even better is that I don't even have to lift a finger. Literally. I don't have to gather supplies for it, and then on top of it all, it will grab all the things off the ground for me each Monday. And so I guess that kind of ends my remaining hopes of town rank being increased, since it doesn't seem like there's any more main storyline quests. I did just let myself be broke in game for longer than I needed for absolutely no reason, as it turns out. I did take the artifact replicator out for a spin, and whoa, that was really fast. I then took the time to place my mill, forge, and soup cauldron. I kind of just slapped them down where I could. Like I said before, I did spend a decent amount of time decorating before this update, so it did kind of pain me for the feng shui to be broken up like this, but it had to be done. So after these 2 whole days, I did take a break in real life and did see that the auto feeders were busted. And unfortunately, that was the case for me. I put tons of fruit in them. You all witnessed it. And now all that fruit is gone. Years of my fruit supply gone, just like that. The lost and found is empty, so I guess it wasn't exactly so good at finding my lost fruit. Now, was it? Anyway, I turned in the insect quest to Adeline, so I now have access to apiaries and terrariums. I wouldn't mind getting my hands on some legendary honey, and it seems like the different bees will produce different quality honey, just like the terrariums where different bugs and rarities will produce different pheromones and bait. I wasted no time placing them down on my farm. I put in 3 bees and 3 speedy snails. So I will need 1 more of each. My hoarding was helpful, but not helpful enough because I was 1 short in each of these bugs. At the mines, I did see some new mining perks, so I snatched them up. I got a perk for more Mistria, which will come in handy after I collect all those void items. I got a perfect gem and ore perk. I do have a feeling Ulrich will be happy about that. And ooh, there's a perk for twice as many void items to drop. So sign me up right now. That's perfect. There's 1 for ritual chambers to appear more often. I don't absolutely need that right now, but you know what? I'll get it regardless. There's also some combat perks, but now I am kind of running low on essence, but I will take the Sure Strike one. The friend-shaped one can wait since it's just a cosmetic monster skin for pets, and it's only limited to those slime-looking like dudes for the time being. So see, I'm being reasonable and responsible. So I responsibly went down and descended into the mines. I really should have thought ahead though and brought some food, but I feared that probably would have made me too responsible, and I couldn't have that. I still haven't found any void stone, so I'm not certain they actually exist. Now that I think about it, I'm not sure any of this actually exists. This could all just be in my head. I did go on ahead and redeem the friend-shaped perk at the end of the mine session since I had enough essence, ending the day not only with a new perk, but with 3 more void powders, 1 void pearl, and 1 more void herb. On day 4, I was curious, so I graded Stone Calderus, and it looks like both woodcrafting and blacksmithing have new perks as well. I caught a new bug, a big bee. I need to keep my eyes peeled for any new bees, because I think there are 5 of them. And why do I feel like bug catching got way harder? I look like a complete fool out here, and it hurts even more because I do feel like a fool as well. I donated the big bee, confirming my suspicions that a new bee collection existed. Looking over the new collections at the museum, it does seem like I should pay close attention to the fish trap because there are a lot of collections related to that specifically. But enough, I need to focus on the mines. I went back to the lava levels, but there were no void stones to be seen anywhere. I was almost convinced they didn't spawn on these levels, but just as I was going to head to a different part of the mines, I did find my first void stone. And it was a double drop. That perk really did come in handy. After another day of mining, I was able to get 1 more void pearl, 3 more void powders, and 3 void stones total. So I am getting pretty close to having 5 of each. At the start of the next day, I found a speedy snail. Now I will capture you and hold you captive forever. Hope you're okay with that, speedy snail. It was the Saturday market, so I collected some gifts and handed them out to the people I'm not quite at 8 hearts with. There was nothing new to buy at the market, and there were no new cooking challenges. But there are new items to collect in the mines, so let's hop on over there instead. Now that I found my first void stone, they must be appearing more frequently. I got another double drop, and then I was able to fish up my last void pearl, which does mean I have enough supplies for that last seal to be mine. All mine. So I wasted no time making an offering. And oh, there's my void self. Wait, why does this low-key kind of remind me of Disney Dreamlight Valley? If you know, you know. Well, okay, my void self is greedy. She wants more items from me. I'm not quite sure I have the moth just lying around, but I'm pretty sure I have everything else. Oh, I guess I really should have not doubted myself because I did have all the supplies, including the moth, ready to donate. So while my hoarding wasn't perfect for my bug supply, it sure is perfect for the mine supply. There's no time to waste. It's time to get right back in the mines. I handed over the items to give my void self for the offering. Pink tools, here I come. Oh, now that I think about it, I really should be visiting my lord boyfriend Calderus. I did forget about him. To be fair, I did forget about most of my other boyfriends, but I'm ambitious, okay? My thoughts were on the mines, about progress. And to be fair, those priorities were straight. It sure is dark down here. Perhaps I should have brought a nightlight with me. There's a flying book monster. I do love that. I can potentially be killed with knowledge. Knowledge is power, and in this case, it does seem to be quite powerful. My first pink ore, it is just such a satisfying pink shade. I found a skull mask from one of my new monsters. This kind of looks like an infested floor from Stardew Valley. I swear, it's so dark in here. I thought I got all the monsters, but there was still one lurking around, but I couldn't tell because I was cloaked in darkness. Despite this, I did make it to floor 85, but not before I got a void cat hat. I did a quick museum donation where I did notice I also got a book hat. In my opinion, the book hat does look kind of ridiculous, so I'll just stick with my skull. Well, I should always have my skull on. I mean, I hope so, but I will use this second skull for double protection. Back at home, I redeemed the Mistral Expert perk, which will come in handy when I forge some Mistral ingots. I also unlocked new void crafting and water sprites, so it does look like there's another crafting recipe for sprinklers that is a 3x3 square. So here's where I took a break in real life to get a celebratory shamrock shake. And it's really quite lucky that I did this because when I returned from McDonald's, there was a patch out to fix the auto feeder issue, all through the power of the almighty shamrock shake. But it does still look like my fruit that I put in is just lost forever. But I guess the Shamrock Shake does have its limits. But it's not too limited because I did see a bee whiz past me, just the bug I needed. I snatched it up and then I went to fill the auto feeders, each with 20 lemons, because I'm not going crazy like I did the first time. I don't want to be losing too much fruit in case this goes awry. Anyway, I then put the bee I captured into the bee house. The bees are swarming the place, so I do take that as a good sign. Since it was Monday, I checked the lost and found, and whoa, I wouldn't have thought it would have picked up the stuff in my barns and coops, but apparently it does. I haven't quite decided if I like that yet or not. I then picked up a request for March. He wants me to make him a bracelet or give him a bracelet. I don't quite know what a Dragon Forge bracelet is, but I will stop at nothing to get one for my boyfriend March. I then went on to forge some Mistral ingots. I swear I'm really not a pink person, but I'm really liking these pink tools. But enough distractions. It's time to get back to the mines. I can't see where the fish is or where my line is because it is just so dark in here, so I'll just wait till something happens. And luckily, it did work out for me. I then managed to snag my first pink diamond. There's a new giant monster. He hurts me more than any other monster, so I do take that personally. I encountered another infested floor. If you're wondering what my combat strategy is, it's just to swing my sword till nothing is left in sight. Look at this absolute chonker of a node right here. I do have to say, I do really love when these floors have a lamp. It just makes everything so much easier. I managed to make it to floor 90 and the priestess was waiting for me. I guess I can't get down to level 100 yet, kind of ruining this flow state, but whatever. I guess I'll have to find some magic key, but not today apparently, because it's quite late. Auto feeders are working as expected. I do love the sight of that, but I will still mourn my stolen fruit. Please, for your sanity, look away. It was so hard to catch the sweet bee. I mean, honestly, it was embarrassing. What are you doing? I said, look away. To top it all off, I was having a hard time sacrificing my cucumber to the bees. Just take my cucumber, please. Eventually, I did figure it out, and I got some legendary bug pheromones. And yes, I did use those right away. It spawned a new bug, so I snatched that big boy up. Staying on the farm, I used my forge here to forge a new sword and helmet. Then I did a quick visit to the museum where I finished off the Void Forge set and Gems of Mistria set. I got a pink forge as a reward, so I guess I really didn't need to buy the crusty dusty gray one from the carpenters, but out of protest, I will not be using the pink one. I went back to floor 90 and I had a real good feeling I would need a shovel. So I went back home to get a shovel. Well, turns out I didn't need a shovel at all. Some of the notes I read mentioned Dragon's Fire, which did lead me to believe I would need Dragon's Breath, but I do have to choose where I use the Dragon Breath wisely since the spell does take a lot of mana orbs. So naturally, that's why I chose wrong on my first attempt. I don't know why, but I blasted the wall. Sorry about that. I should have had you look away again. I reread some of the scrolls, and the only other place would be the forge, and luckily that was the right spot. This forge is where you can craft dragon forged items, so I do wonder if this is where I can make that bracelet for March. I just need to collect a marigold and temple flower. Easy enough, but not as easy as I had hoped. I did hop on over to the dig site to forage there, hoping both of the flowers would be present, but despite this wishful thinking, I still had to travel back home to get one of the flowers. Once again, the power of hoarding saves me. I offered up the flowers and got a seed of balance in return. I chucked that seed in the dirt and watered it, and so I guess we just have to wait. But really, we didn't have to wait because there is a spell that instantly grows things, but I did forget about the spell, so actually yes, we do have to wait. In the meantime, I was back in the mines looking for more Mistral. After which, I did donate to the museum. And oh, March doesn't want me to forge him a new bracelet, he's actually asking for an artifact. The next day, right on cue, I was back in the mines. I watered my little sapling and then continued my Mistral hunt. I spent most of the day in the mines. Of course, I followed up the mine session with a donation run, finishing off the Metals of Mistria set. Then I went back to the safety of my farm to form some Mistral ingots. I made Mistral armor, a ring, and leg plate. And then I crafted 4 more terrariums since I'll be wanting all the quality pheromones and baits. On the 10th day, I did get my first honey from the bees. To celebrate, I did fill up 1 terrarium with common bugs, 1 with uncommon bugs, another with rare bugs, and then I did one with a mixed variety, which upon reflection, or I guess just knowing how it works, I don't think I needed to do the mixed one since I think it always gives the lowest quality, but I'm not 100% sure on that, so don't quote me on that. Even though I got my first honey, I did go ahead and buy more honey at the store so that I could craft 4 more apiaries, but I'm still kind of limited by my lack of bees, so to the mines it was. And yes, that does make sense. I once again watered my growing seed of balance, and then it was time to plunge back into the mines. My circle of light is getting bigger since I have upgraded my armor. I did end up finding the Dragon Forge bracelet, but it won't be going to March quite yet. Sorry, but the museum is calling, and I just can't deny that call. I did find the slime guy, sapling, essence, whatever it's actually called, pet skin. I hope that made sense. I'm not quite sure if I'll like it though, because those are like my least favorite monsters. In any case, I did go over to the museum to donate and was able to finish off the dragon artifact set. And okay, it's confirmed. I do not like the essence pet, so pink cat it is to match my Mistral tools and weapons. We've got to coordinate over here. I got another legendary bug pheromone, so I went ahead and used it, but I did get the same bug as last time. I then went on to forge the last of my armor before heading on over to the mines to water my slow-growing plants. I found a skull mask for some pet. I really thought it was for my cat, but I didn't see the option anywhere, so I just started looking around. But honestly, I don't even know what it's for. I guess this is the price for being so excited I didn't read anything, which I don't know, might be a pattern here. After I was done in the mines, I did donate my findings to the museum, so I'm now 1 insect away from finishing the Ruins insect set. I continued to turn my tools from gold to Mistral, and then I was off to the market to give 3 people a gift. I finally did remember to visit Calderus, so we did have a date in the deep woods. I choose to believe he was my good luck charm because the key was finally done growing. I snatched up that key and then learned a new light spell that will keep the lights on in these dark parts of the cave for 5 minutes. With this new spell in hand, I descended back into the mines and then proceeded to forget all about this spell entirely. In my defense, I had used most of my mana on using Dragon's Breath, so we'll let it slide. I was able to make it down to level 95 before leaving for the night, but before heading to bed, I did finish the Ruins Forage set and Ruins Insect set. I just need 2 more fish to finish the Ruins Fish set. I woke up to my demanding bugs, but at least I got uncommon bait, common bug pheromones, common fish bait, and a honey out of it, I finally filled another apiary with 4 big bees. And then I got some rare fish bait. Seriously, what is my problem? Why can't I catch this bee? Anyway, I did put the rare bait in the fish trap and then headed on over to the mines. I knew it was kind of late in the day to reach the bottom, and so my suspicions were correct when I didn't manage to make it to the bottom and instead passed out by my Calderus statue, which meant I woke up late the next day. To top it all off, I found some chipped cups in the lost and found. No thank you. I did give March a Dragonforge bracelet I found, and then I was right back to the mines. I kept going deeper and deeper. I made it to level 99 and was fortunately able to make it to the bottom, even with my late start to the day. So it was me who was able to bring magic back. Oh, wait, you're telling me it was the earthquake? That's awkward for me. Priestess, don't worry, I know them quite well. I am dating one of them, so rest assured, I know Island quite well. You know what? Now that I think about it, I see you're actually being inclusive of all kinds of relationship dynamics. But you really can be rest assured I do know Island very well. Yeah, I would think you'd want me to be quick about breaking the seal since you are the one trapped here and all. There was no time to waste the next morning. I had to talk to Juniper. You know what? Juniper really is growing on me. At first, she used me as her little test guinea pig, but now look at her. She's so enthusiastic. You better suit me up, Island. And it's the museum armor. This is all coming so full circle. Let's see if these two people are finally able to make me literate through the power of friendship. And whoa, friendship really does work because I can read. The literacy rate in Fields of Mistria is through the roof. I do need to craft some dragon-forged items, so let's hit that forge. I was able to craft the dragon-forged fang, and then I had to take a brief intermission to forge more mistral ingots. Then I was able to forge the dragon-forged powder, but then I needed another medium essence, so I had to go make that real quick. Then I was able to forge the dragon-forged core, but now I need more void pearls, so I must brave the mines once more and fish. And I was able to get one more void pearl, and then, you know what, add another to it. But please hold for a moment though, because I need another medium essence stone. Then I was finally able to forge the dragon-forged horn. Let's make an offering to end all offerings. Please, I have nothing left to give. You've taken everything. Thankfully, the final seal was broken. And does this mean Calderus can finally leave the deep woods? Whoa, the priestess looks so cool as a dragon. I don't really know how to pronounce her actual name, so sorry if I butcher that name. For reference, I think I was calling Island Eland or something when I first started this game. Like, I was completely adding letters to names where letters did not exist. So the bounds for me mispronouncing names in this game specifically, there are no bounds, okay? And for that, I apologize. If I'm mispronouncing it, you can just close your ears for like 1 second. Anyway, take the time. Soak in my man, my Lord Calderus. He's here. But this is awkward. Calderus was the one to put the seal on this place. But forget all about that. It's about me and Calderus. He became mortal for me. Like, how are you supposed to respond to that with anything but a marriage proposal? Maybe Calderus was onto something though, because I do kind of low-key wish Seridia was still locked up, not gonna lie. But my brain is a little scrambled because look how protective Calderus is of me. I do wonder if his dialogue is changed because we're dating, or if he would say this if we were just besties instead. And yes, I am a confirmed worm. I am a worm and I'm proud. Seridia, please, that's my mate, so if you could politely never speak to him like that again, that would be great. I was thrust into a Calderus flashback, and let me just say, I do think it's kind of sad that this part of the deep woods now has so many graves, but I mean, it also could be 100, 200, 300, you know, hundreds of years in the past. So I think some death in that time is expected if you're mortal. And oh hey, there's another one of my boyfriends. Hi Hayden! Guys, Calderus said the thing. He said the title of the game. I feel like we can just roll the end credits right here. And okay, honestly, that was a lot to take in. Basically, from my understanding, Seridia was/is evil. The jury's still out on that, but anyway, Calderus sealed her away to save the world from her. And yeah, I broke his seal, which did release Seridia. But at least Seridia doesn't seem like she's going to destroy the planet for the time being, so you know what? I do have that going for me. But I still think she's evil. Her yard, it's not as nice as Calderus's, and that's truly what matters here. But guys, Calderus, he's finally free. He's a free elf at last. And oof, my poor animals were forced to be left outside. It wasn't my fault. Please don't be mad at me. Just like with Calderus, it does look like I started out with 8 hearts with Seridia, so at least I don't have to work my way up from the bottom. But I do kind of think I deserve to be at 8 hearts. I did free her after all. I then went back to reality and harvested some premium honey and rare bug pheromones. I hopped on over to the beach to check on my fish trap, where it seems I managed to snag a new fish. Inspired by it all, I used some bug pheromones only to catch a lousy straw hopper. In any case, I filled back up the fish trap and then went on over to the museum where I did finish off the ruins fish set. I managed to catch another sweet bee, so I put 4 of them into an apiary, but I guess they count as the same rarity as the big bee, so all that effort for nothing. I then went on to catch my first flower bee, so now I only need 2 more types of bees, which I did see. I think one is only caught in winter, at least what I've seen on a few Reddit posts, so I won't be getting that anytime soon. And I have to admit, Seridia's house is pretty cool, especially her back room. I finished up foraging the last of my Mistral tools, so I'm now all suited up in Mistral. And this is when I realized the bug net upgrades weren't just cosmetic, which means the bug catching mechanic has changed, which means I was acting a complete fool earlier. It was harder to catch those bugs because catching bugs was different. I found Seridia hanging with Dozy, and I don't know how to feel about that. Leave Dozy alone. And I really don't know how to feel about getting 666 tea from her, but maybe that's the real tea. I think it's a sign she is evil though. Guys, the hardwood stump by Calderus's house is gone. He really is a free elf. I then spent the rest of the day wandering around, bug hunting, but I didn't find anything good. The next day, I went on over to visit the fish trap, but there were no new fish. Look at the stunning portrait of my man March that Elsie is just using for free on today's gossip card. Take an even bigger look. Calderus is out and about. This is absolutely historic. I never thought I would live to see this day. I then went on over to the summit to bug hunt. I think the only bees I can get in summer are the big bee, bumblebee, sweet bee, and flower bee. Unless there's one for rain or something. I mean, honestly, I could be missing something, but I haven't managed to stumble upon any other types of bees so far. But entering and exiting the summit let me catch 4 flower bees. I did put them all in an apiary. They are considered rare, so the search for my legendary bee will continue, which I do think I can probably count the fairy bee, which does appear in fall, if I remember correctly, as a legendary bee, so that's not too far ahead. Or at least, that is what I tell myself. Anyway, I gave Seridia an iron shovel, and I'm honestly scared to know what she's going to do with it. I mean, I was so scared, I didn't even ask her what her plans were. I gave her a flower, and to be fair, she didn't hate it, but she didn't like it or love it either. I had to update everyone on Friday night at the inn about what went down the other day, with me saving the entire world and all. You know, just another day, just my 9 to 5. What's it to ya? And Celine, I swear to God, you better back off Calderus. If you don't, I think I might let the world end. You know what? I will find out how to time travel and then let the world just crumble to ashes. Am I overreacting? Who can really say? Seridia and Calderus are here. Look at them. Calderus, I feel like you should stay away from her until she proves she's not going to turn evil. But maybe you're a better man than me, and I think quite literally you are a better man than me, considering the fact I am not a man. I finally remembered that the perpetual pot of soup is in my house, so I did drop a lemon in and got 30 energy from the soup. I would rather eat food for that energy, but this might have a bigger effect or better purpose in the early game. I'm not quite sure. Another Saturday market was upon us, but first I headed on over to the fish trap. I put some uncommon bait in, and I swear I keep telling myself mentally I want to use this bait in the water so I can manually fish up something, but I just keep forgetting until it's too late. I did do a quick round of gift giving, which now I'm only down to 2 people. Well, I guess now it's back up to 3 with Seridia, but I'm down to 2 merchants who don't have 8 hearts. So yeah, I'm moving up in the world. For a second, I didn't even notice Calderus, but here he is in all his glory at the market. So I wasted no time asking him on a beach date, and guys, you're gonna have to do a double take. We actually went to the beach. To be nice, I did give Seridia another flower, and this time she actually liked it. I would have preferred her to love it, but I'll take what I can get. Then it was straight back to the mines. I tested out the new light spell. It's like turning on a lamp, except that it keeps the lights on when you descend into the next level, which I do think is pretty nice. On day 20, my game did crash. We were going so strong without anything like this, but I mostly spent this day again in the mines looking for a specific mine bug and a mines forage for 2 requests I had picked up days prior, but I came up empty-handed on both fronts. I did find a mouse trap in the lost and found. I placed it upstairs in my house, but then sadly my game came crumbling, crashing down again. So let's try this again. The mouse trap was still there, and so I was determined to go to the mines, so I did exactly that. I did finally find the bug I needed to be able to craft a Dragonforge core, but then I kept looking for the root someone was requesting, but I came up empty-handed in that department yet again. The next day, I started things off by tending to my terrariums and apiaries. I was happy to see more bait, so I hurried on over to the river to put it to the test finally. It spawned a new fish in the river, but an ordinary normal fish was in my way, so I did have to catch that before I was able to catch the new fish. I followed that up by experimenting with some bug pheromones again, and I was actually able to catch a new bug, so I went ahead and donated both of them to the museum. For the rest of the museum collections, I just need more items related to bait, pheromones, and bees. But I think completing them will be a bit of a grind, at least if I just focused on that, which is what I have left to do from this new update. It won't be something I can do in just a couple days, since it takes 3 days for each apiary and terrarium to produce something to be able to be used. Take this moment to look at Seridia on her throne. I have to say, she's being sus. And I think this might be a good place to end this playthrough. I did look back through the roadmap for this update just to make sure I did everything. And as far as I know, I've done pretty much everything on the list, at least to some degree. I just haven't completed all the collections, and I guess I did never craft the new water sprites. Although, like I said, I just decorated my farm. The new sprites I don't think go with my layout, so I don't think I'll be crafting them anytime soon. But I do have to say, I did have a fun time playing through all this new content. It's kind of making me want to start a new playthrough just to see what it's like to play at the beginning now that there's sprinklers, auto feeders, auto petters, apiaries, terrariums, perpetual soup, etc. There's just so much that's been added since I first started, at least in this save. I do actually have another save, but I made that one over a year ago before there were auto petters and sprinklers. I think maybe it was just a second major update when I created that save, if I'm remembering correctly. But I'm also thinking I might just wait till the 1.0 update to start over. I mean, like I said earlier, this save right here is my ride or die. I don't want to just up and abandon it. I want to see it through till the end. If you can't tell, I am quite conflicted about what I want to do here because I do think it was nice to be able to jump into all the new content right away with this save, but I also think it would be valuable to start over and experience these new things as they're meant to appear naturally. So my question to you, are you going to start a new save for the 1.0 release, or are you going to finish off the current one? Or are you gonna do both? I'm curious, so let me know. I'm still deciding myself. I keep going back and forth. But in any case, it's going to be fun either way to experience Fields of Mistria at that 1.0 launch. And so with that, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you like. I mean, I did save Mistria and all.